All right, enough of that. Let's move on. Plenty to talk about. We'll probably talk about Danzig sings Elvis again and again. Um, I want to go back to this. And the reason why I want to go back to this vinyl is because very recently, as it turns out, so I've had this for 9 years now. And I know that because very recently, the story of how I got this vinyl was forgotten by myself, but I had written it down a long time ago because I had posted about it, and I had left out so many details. Like, I sort of told the story on air, and I forgot half of the stuff. And so now I want to go back and tell you because it's way juicier than I remember. Not juicier, but it's just way more entertaining than I remember. Rue, it's funny you say that because Rue says, I'll buy it. Yeah, this is not for sale for many reasons. This was a victory. This Initium is a victory buy. I'm gonna tell you how I got this. So here's kind of what I wrote. This is what I wrote the day of, I guess it was April 2011, right? Went to Rocket Science Records on St. Mark's today to kill time before meeting someone at 4. I was meeting someone about possibly doing this film-related project. We were going to meet in Union Square, and so I was on the lower, down by the Village, Lower East Side, like more on the east side of things, over by St. Mark's, right off of 3rd Street. And so, I just browsing records at Rocket Science Records. I walk in and see on the wall, that they have a copy of Initium on the wall. And this is the sticker from the, from that right there. And it says, Plan 9 pressing on black vinyl, right? So it's hanging here. The record is hanging here on the wall, okay? I walk in, I see this record. Hold on, let me just check. Yeah. So I'm trying. I have a lot of questions. Sorry. Got distracted for a second. So a lot of questions run through my mind as I see this record posted up on the wall. They have all the hot, rare treats hanging up on the wall, things that drive people into the store or drive them to search for other stuff. I can't see the back to know whether there's a barcode or not, but it says on the sticker, on the plastic sleeve, that is a Plan 9 pressing. And then here's what I had forgotten, and this was a big thing. So there was a price sticker, an orange price sticker that was barbarically put right on the actual vinyl. I was able to or right on the sleeve. I was able to take off the sticker with lighter fluid. If you're ever in a situation where you have a really nice album and you have a sticker and you're afraid you're damage your sleeve, just take lighter fluid and it will melt, absorb, evaporate any rubber sticky glue that's attached to the sleeve, and it will come off effortlessly. And so that's what I did here, right? I'm going to tilt it at the side so we can see it. There's Glenn, Erie, and Steve, and they're covered in horse blood in Glenn's basement. Glenn's taking a picture. Love this album cover. I was like, and so I see it priced for what looks like $5,000. And I was like, what the fuck? $5,000? I was like, this is crazy. What did I write here? All right, so there's a bearded fellow behind the counter. And, all these fucking record store jabronis, they're just so smug. Listen, I used to kind of be one, not at an indie place, more like a corporate place. I used to work at Sam Goody, and I used to work at FYE. But the independent ones are the real, and again, to anybody out there, I know I was just championing independent record stores, but, some of the ilk that work there can be real dicks, especially to, music aficionados. They see it all. They think they're just, God's gift to music or whatever. Their taste is unparalleled as they work in the store and So I ask this bearded fellow, that's how I wrote it here. Oh my God, this friggin' thing. I asked the bearded fellow behind the counter if he was really selling it for $5,000 because, it just says 5,000, 3 zeros. I'm going, my God, $5,000 for this record? That's ridiculous. And he says 50 for 50, just like that. Yes, Bob, all murder, all guts, all fun. I like when heads are and the way that art starts to imitate life, like the edge of a gun, like the end of a gun, like the edge of a knife. All murder, all guts, all fun. So he goes 50 for 50, kind of like that. I remember that very clearly now. It's amazing how you read something and it jogs your memory. So he's going 50 for 50. Just like real, like just such an asshole, like just so unnecessary. It was a simple question. It was easy, and I'm sure that again, you know what? And 9 years on, looking back, like maybe he was just having a really bad day, or maybe he was just a pretentious, music record store, plebling that just was being a total dick, for no apparent reason. 'Cause they like to do that. It's like their lives are so, they're musicians themselves, or they know somebody in the business and it makes them like so superior to everybody else, or they got a chip on their shoulder because their girlfriend broke up with them because their band wasn't successful. Who fucking knows? Fucking jabronis. Anyway, yeah, so he says and I look again and I see that the decimal on the sticker, the orange sticker, it's invisible, man. So it looks like $5,000. But, it was marked as $50. And I'm also really shocked. Okay, now here's where the story. Okay, so here's the thing. I've definitely seen Initium, and please, I invite anybody to interrupt me and correct me and tell me I'm wrong and provide the better price here, because this is just what I'm going off of based on what I've seen in the past on eBay, and for sure I've seen it. But I'm not a collector, and so therefore I don't know. I could be just very, very wrong. You know what I mean, about some of this stuff. In any case, I had seen Initium go on eBay for as high as $350. I don't know if that was a white copy, a gray copy, a black copy. There are 5,000 black, I believe. And what happened was they went out to Long Island. Him and Damien went out to Long Island, and they mixed some of the vinyl pellets. We've spoken about how records are made on here. Check back with previous episodes. They mixed the vinyl pellets together, different colors, to create swirls. And that, in the collector's market, has skyrocketed in value. Like, people are always acquiring these pieces and then checking in the light to see what kind of mix they got, or are there any streaks? Is there any black? Is there any purple? Is there any red? And there's just something about the color of vinyl that drives people crazy. It drives me crazy. I love it in the best way. It's just aesthetically pleasing to the eye. What can we say? I have heard, though, that both picture discs and color vinyl do not sound as good as straight black vinyl. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it has something to do with the composition of the vinyl, or how it holds, or how it sonically holds, but that's what I've heard. So I've seen it go for $350, and at the time, this is in 2011, I just looked again and found one for $249 and another two for $50 or $60, but who knows if these are real. So at the time of writing this, after telling this guy that I'd seen it for $350 and posting about this later on after the story is over, apparently it was going for as high as $249. So this guy had criminally underpriced this record, at least by the eBay market standards, right? So I ask the bearded dude behind the counter a couple of questions. And, all right, so looking at it now, I'm sure if somebody came into the store and I was some pretentious D-bag, I probably would be obnoxious too, because I'm like too busy listening to the new Sonic Youth album to like answer this dude's questions about this band Samhain. Like, who cares, I ask him, are you sure it's an original pressing? Because, there's so many bootlegs out there, and, maybe that's why he has it priced at $50. Maybe maybe it's not an original copy. And they're selling bootlegs for $50 and they're ripping people off and stuff. It's like, I just needed to know. I had to know more information. It was driving me bananas not being able to see behind the record. I asked, is it a bootleg? Are you sure it isn't? Wink, wink. I'm sure that pissed him off to no end. All legitimate questions a customer has the right to ask, especially regarding something as heavily bootlegged as Misfits Samhain vinyl. Something is just not right, as no one would have just would be selling a very rare and valuable record like that, and have it just hanging on the wall and playing Reach for $50. It just didn't add up on paper, especially if it's a Plan 9 pressing, which just really tickled me pink. I mean, this doesn't even say, there's no Caroline on the back or anything. I don't know. It's So the bearded guy is not very friendly at all. He is just, as I said, he's being, as I wrote at the time, he's being all types of typical standoffish, the typical standoffish record guy with the heard it all before type attitude, and clearly sees me as an annoying presence. And I mean, probably if I was him, I probably would think the same. But at the same time, and what's funny? It's like, you think about like how desperate record stores are now for business and stuff. And it's like, that attitude cannot be afforded in this day and age with all the competition, with everything that's going on. It's like, that's just like uncalled for. It really was. So his attitude was totally uncalled for, even if I was being an annoying little fuck, which I probably was. It's his right. I said, well, I guess it's right. Maybe, I said back then, maybe he's having a bad day. But this is no way to talk to someone who's interested in making a $50 purchase in your store. And that, once again, that's very true. Even $50 purchase back in 2011 is a large purchase for a record store, in the sense of like, you think if someone's buying one album, so that's like that could be anywhere from 2 to 4 records or 2 to 4 CDs worth of purchasing for $50, right? And he's just being like a dick, like he doesn't need my business. Well, fuck him. Because I'll tell you, I don't think Rocket Records, sadly, I don't think they're in business anymore. Somebody prove me wrong, but I don't think they're in business anymore. As everything is slowly shut down on St. Mark's and slowly just become increasingly different. In a way, I wish it was still around, man. I'm like, it bums me out. I say here, Initium has like a ton of pressing. So how does this guy know which one it really is? So I mentioned that I've seen it go for as much as $350 on eBay, and he immediately dismisses me, going, no, it doesn't. So that's where this story really becomes becomes a standoff with this guy. I'm telling him, I'm going, bro, I have seen this record go for $350, and it's true. I've seen it go for $350 on eBay. You have this criminally underpriced, so it's either a bootleg or you just don't know what you have, and I desperately would like to know because I'd love to purchase it for $50. And he's telling me it doesn't go for this much, and it's just like, fuck you, bro. Like, honestly, like, screw you, man. Like, you just, like what the hell? So I asked to buy it, right? So I'm like, all right, $50. I'm going to buy this record. I love Samhain Initium. I want to own it. I've never seen a Samhain Initium in any store. You know what I mean? It's just, I had to own it. Even if it was a bootleg for $50, I just wanted to own it. I had to own it. I had to own it either for the story or I had to own it if it was real. It was important to me to buy this. So I asked to buy it, and he refuses. The guy says, nope, can't buy it. And I'm like, huh? He goes, it's on hold for someone. And I'm going, oh my God, this guy is being such a friggin' this guy's being such a D-bag. So I go, and then he says this. So I offered $10 more. So I say, all right, I'll take it for $60. He refuses. He says, I can't sell this to you for $60. And I've offered him $60, which is $10 more than what I previously had asked for, offered, whatever. And he says to me, he says, how would you feel if you put something on hold and I sold it to someone else? And at that point, I was just ready to give up on buying it, but still had to know if it was a first pressing. So I was ready to let it go. So I asked him, I said, do you mind if I just look at the back? He says, no, you can't look at the back. I don't want you, you can't touch the record. I said, do you mind if I take a picture? He said, so I can at least check when I get home. He goes, no, I don't like people taking pictures in my store. Okay. I go, okay, well, thanks. Have a good one. I leave. I walk out. But it's itching at me. It's like, I can't let this go. I need to own this record, or I need to find out. I don't need to own it. I just need to find out. And I'm dying to know. What pressing it is, if it's a bootleg, what the deal is, because it just seems like such a fishy story. Let me see here. So then I go to meet my friend Steve. This guy Steve. On the way to meeting Steve is when I decided that the guy was full of shit, and I wanted the record, whether it was a first pressing or a bootleg or whatever it was. So Steve and I are talking in Union Square, and I asked him if he'd do me a favor and buy this record for me. And he goes, yeah, sure, I'm happy to buy the record for you. So I show him what it looks like. I look it up online. I go, that's what I want. Go get that. He walks in, pretends to browse before going up to the counter, because I didn't want him to go straight for the record, because then the guy might know what's up with that. So he goes and he browses around all the different records, and then he comes up and he asks to purchase the record. And I'm waiting outside, and I legit feel like a kid. I feel like a kid who has asked an older dude to buy beer for me. You know what I mean? Like, just waiting anxiously. So he buys the record. The guy sold it to him. The guy sold it to Steve. And I bet in his mind it was such a sweet, just the sweet thing for him to do. This guy had pleaded and offered $10 more for the record, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, ha, ha, ha. You know, I'm selling this record to this other guy that wanted it so badly, in typical evil record store guy fashion. What a dick. So Steve hands off the record to me. I'd given him $50. He purchased it, and I hold it up in front of the big plate glass window, and I just go, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm just like, haha, fuck you. I got it. I go home. I pop the record open. I take a look. I look at the matrix numbers, and it is indeed a first pressing on black vinyl of Samhain Initium. I show it to Steve Zing. Steve Zing says it's legit. I don't know how Steve could tell, but he said it was legit at the time. I said, Steve, sign it, please. So he signed it. I asked him to draw if he could draw a little something. So he drew a little bat. So it's signed by Steve Zing. I still have to get it signed by the other guys, too. And it is one of my prized possessions, and I will never sell it ever unless I really, really have to, because it means so much to me. And I really need to get it framed and hung up somewhere.